but Classic is one of the best Protoss players in the world, if not the best Protoss player in the world. Oh boy. Not an easy opponent. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the blue Protoss player. The blue Protoss, the South Korean Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the top, or in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg. It is YoungYakov. Here we go. So the time being, we're going to be settling in. So far, Hatch Gas Pool, standard open out of YoungYakov, and welcome to Persephone. Persephone is one of the more quote-unquote standard maps in the map pool. I mean, I say standard map. Obviously, it has its quirks, right? Healing pad on the right-hand side, a gold base on the right-hand side as well. Shorter rush distance by air, true. But when it comes to the expansions, they're very isolated from each other. You have very specifically your half of the map and your opponent's half of the map. There's so much dead space in between here, just cutting the map in half, that we often do see longer and later games, especially in other matchups, where you can cut the map in half, you can max macro out, and then typically both players do fight for the gold base. The gold base in the center is kind of the most contested expansion on the map, if we get there. Now, when it comes to Classic style, amongst the top Protoss players, amongst players like Max, Hero, and Classic, Classic is maybe arguably the most macro out of all of them. What I mean by that, when I say macro, Classic, he is so willing against Terran and against Zerg. If he sees an opportunity, if he sees that you're backing off, you're giving him time, he will throw down the Stargate, he'll throw down a Fleet Beacon, he will rush into Skytoss. So give him any opportunity, and Classic, he's one to throw down and to tech up into Skytoss, into that maxed out army, and just rush into that kind of game state. And again, it's something he does against Terran, he does against Zerg. I should also emphasize that's not the initial plan, that's not like the purpose of like his style or his build. It's just that if he sees a window, if he sees his opponent backing off and giving him room, then he will go for it. Otherwise, he will be in your face and be aggressive. Classic is not as diverse as Hero, for example. Hero, he's a lot more diverse in the mid game. Classic less so, but by no means is he a passive player. He's not a Showtime. He's not that extreme. I'd say Classic is more opportunistic. For now, though, we do have our Stargate into Oracle. We'll be moving out across the map. Yakov investing quite heavily here early on. 14 Lings on the way. Oh my god. So a heavy commitment into Lings. With this, the goal should be to catch the Adepts and to try to threaten the third base. As it's going to be 18 Lings in total. Again, a big investment. Yakov is moving out. He wants those Adepts. And we'll see if we can get them. See if he can. Adepts, they race back home. Lings are moving in. Oracle is deflected, taking a lot of damage. And Lings are going for the expansion. Up. They do not catch the Adepts. They do back off. Despite that, a lot of Zerglings. And one Adept should fall, at least one. Maybe even all three, actually. It gets one, two, up. Barely all three Adepts. Doesn't force a cancel, but does force the Oracle to stay back. As a reminder, this is the second Oracle. Early Twilight Council at a Classic, though. Hello. Okay. Very early Twilight Council. This is looking similar, not the same, but similar to what Shameless just did in the Ace match. Show us those Glaive Adepts. So 4 gateways, Twilight Council. Looks like Glaives. Oh, going for a Blink instead. Now, a couple of things here. As the Overlord goes in for a Scout. No Forge. Remember, there is no Forge here for Classic, so lack of Forge early blink, delayed Forge early blink. This is typically indicative of a style that does hit and does punish the 4th base of the Zerg. So YoungYakov getting his 3rd base, his 4th base has just now begun. Because blink finishes so early, it allows Classic to push out early to apply pressure and to threaten the 4th base of YoungYakov. The downside of this opener, the downside of this build, is late upgrades, late Forge, late +1. But so far, 5 drones have gone down. A nice damage here from Classic. This build from Classic also does keep you safe against early all-ins, just because blink will be done in time to defend. It will be done earlier than normal. Oh, as Classic, he is quick to take up. Okay, rushing into the Templar Archives. Which means we are skipping Warpins. So Classic, he does choose to skip Warpins. He's rushing into Templar Archives, into Storm. It looks like this was more of a defensive stance, a defensive build. As you mentioned, if there was an all-in coming his way, like a German taxi, then Classic would be fine against it. But here, as you mentioned, he's skipping Warpins, getting extra gateways, working towards Templar Archives, into Storm. Let's go. Oh, which means this 4th base is safe. There's Storm on the way. Now, coming into this kind of game state here, I actually prefer YoungYakov's position. I do think that he's going to be looking a little bit more efficient here. Oh, and he's going for the Spire. Okay. Okay. As I mentioned before, Stalkers, they move out, but this is a much later move out from Classic. He will apply pressure to the 4th base, but he should not kill. He shouldn't. Yeah, Lings are coming from behind. We attempt to surround the Queens. Oh no! They run in. 1 Queen does fall. Does catch out 2 Stalkers. Nice stasis. Stasis traps are going to be going off. More Lings coming for the surround, catching out the Stalkers. And that was how many? That was 4 Stalkers going down. Better trades, better pickups here from YoungYakov. And again, he saves the 4th base. Does not go down. Classic is Punisher applying pressure. And so far, the Spire is hidden. Now, on the one hand, yes, Classic has seen all these Zerglings. That is true. He's seen all the Zerglings, but in his mind, it could still be Ling Bane Hydra. Could still be Hydras. Nice little pickups. Gets 2 probes. Classic, he does reinforce. He's applying pressure. This time with Storm. He wants to break that 4th base. And Ling muted to defend. This is going to be a tough hold for YoungYakov. Again, no roaches, no hydras. Storm tries to zone away. Oh! Nice. Nicely done. Gets over the High Templar. Forcing out more storms. And I believe that was the final storm. And no storms left. The hatchery's under fire. Defensive mutas against this, it's not going to be easy here. In Classic, he may just, yeah, he will break the expansion. 4th base goes down. Mutas are amassing. And mutas have been revealed. They've been revealed. Phoenix production has begun. We're diving on the Stalkers. Archons are being zoned away. But nice blink. Gets 1. Oh god. Yeah, not an easy trade here. Gets both Archons. Yakov does hold on. But we need a counterattack. We have to get something done across the map. A second Stargate's on the way. Mass Phoenix is on the way. Yakov, you gotta send it. Goes in, takes down the cannon. Oh. Catch out a Phoenix. As you can see here, the mutas, I mean, being hunted down. Nice control with the phoenixes. They bully the mutas. There's also, I mentioned in the previous series, how for muta play, like, it's so imperative, so important that they go unscouted. It's so difficult to make them work if not. We can see YoungYakov switching into Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager. Interesting. Oh, Ling's a foot in. The walls on the wall. Hero? Hero, you're not meant to be here, man. Yeah. Ling's a foot into the natural. They get some pro damage. Nice hold position micro. It's 4 workers so far. 5 probes, a stalker. Maybe a couple of zealots. Some decent damage here. Classic, he still has momentum. YoungYakov, he's maxing out. Now again, he's done with muta play. He's going into Ling. I assume Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager. Yeah, Baneliness is done. Here come the Banelings. Yakov is maxing out. And depending on how he engages, he can surround this army. There are only 2 Templar. So 2 Templar, limited storms. Ooh, the first storm is brutal. High Templar, they dive on the High Templar. They get dived upon. They survive. The mutas get completely shut down. A little bit lackluster with the mutas. Storms a zone away. And Classic, he backs off. Kills the expansion, gets half the mineral line. Oh. Meanwhile, no reaction. Classic. Yeah, no reaction. Will lose probes himself. 14 probes going down. YoungYakov. Getting killed probes at the natural. Baneling run by on the 4th base. Not too bad. Oh. So it was brutal to see all those mutas being thrown away, but, you know, we're getting into Hive Tech. Vipers are on the way. Corruptors as well for the anti-air. Nice figures here with the Phoenixes. Bullying the Corruptors. Same time, Yakov does catch an Archon. Okay. Lings, they'll force a cancel. Banelings once again going for the mineral line. They're rolling in. They're trying to at least. They break the way through. Nice storm with the Ravagers, but once again, the mineral line goes down. Lings, they flood in. They delay Classic. They buy time. And YoungYakov, he's going to have time to max out. Oh, still losing a lot of his army, though. Still losing his Roaches and Ravagers. They killed 20 probes. And this means that Classic cannot sustain these losses. Cannot sustain. Yakov, thankfully, he has bottom right. Classic is still pushing in. Does get the power bomb. Oh my god. Phoenixes, they stack up. And here we go, YoungYakov. If he can survive this, then he can take this game. But oh god, there's just so much Protoss. There's so many storms. Speaking of storms, they pull off very nice feedbacks on the Vipers. And Classic is just barreling on through, and this army cannot be dealt with. We have 10 more Roaches in production. Another storm on the ramp. Another storm. And Yakov just cannot engage. Does take down one of the Archons. But GG gets called in. Classic, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Again, shout out to YoungYakov. It did go down here, but he did pose a threat. He was able to hold his own. He had some nice moments here when it came to his run-bys, his counterattacks. Unfortunately, once again, we saw it happen against Shameless as well. Muta play was unsuccessful. Trying to go into mutas against Shameless, that's the game that he lost. Here as well against Classic, it's just really brutal to try to make work. You are so heavily reliant on not being scouted, and the Spire didn't get scouted, but he had to reveal his mutas defensively. He had to reveal them defensively, so Classic had plenty of time to react and respond with Phoenixes, with the second Stargate. He was secure back at home. Again, there were moments where he was losing probes to Ling run-bys and Baneling counterattacks, that is true, but the main army fights were still heavily in favor of a Classic. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into game number 2. Oh, thank you, Factor, and thank you, Hydra, as well. Gracias, gracias. Also, welcome back home. Welcome back home, Hydra. I'm assuming you have returned to the Netherlands. The most recent Epic LAN champion. Este Hydra. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top right-hand corner. Top right-hand corner here of Tokamak. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss leading the series 1-0 for Virtus Pro. It is a classic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself. It is YoungYakov. Este Hydra. But for those that are curious, it was last weekend. It was a very busy weekend of StarCraft, not just with SC for All, but also with Epic LAN. Epic LAN was an offline event happening in the UK, which Hydra did attend, and was able to barely claim as well. So some stiff competition, but shout out to Hydra. Big shout out. But yeah, I would say that Epic LAN is kind of like the next event that I hope is able to garner a little bit more attention, right? Like, we spoke earlier, it's going to be a bit of a side tangent. Hatchgas Pool, standard open at a YoungYakov, likewise, Gate expanded to Cybercore at a Classic, everything's looking normal. Welcome to Tokamak. Tokamak is more standard, is more known for longer and later games. So far, everything's looking normal. But we were discussing this previously, talking about how Cheeseadelphia was a very niche offline event in the Americas, and didn't really get much attention or much eyes on it. Like, obviously we casted what the past 3 years of Cheeseadelphia. We would always be there for the event, but due to the prize pool increase and due to the collaboration with the SC Historian, Rotterdam casted the event. TKL, Indie, they casted the event as well. I think Steadfast, he also co-streamed. We, of course, were a part of it, but it had a lot more attention, a lot more eyes, a lot more streamers on the event as well, to grow the event. I mean, obviously the boosted prize pool does help with that as well. But the SC for All, I want to say, was very successful. I would hope to see something like that happen to Epic LAN in the future as well. Like, Epic LAN, just like Cheeseadelphia, has been running for a long time, right? Has been running for a very, very long time, for many, many years. Is a very regular event in the European region, and I would hope that eventually something similar happens, where some of the European content creators, like I just mentioned, like Rotterdam, or the other language streams like Indie, like TKL, are able to divert their attention and let people be made more aware. As the people working at Epic LAN are very passionate, very passionate. This is where we have to step in. We have to. I would if Epic LAN wasn't at such a brutal time slot for us. So not easy to stay up for. But now though, Reps, they do shade in. They do get shut down. Nice defense here by YoungYakov. Here comes the instant counterattack. Moving out towards the third base. Classic back at home. Just playing standard. Oracle into a third. Oh my god, and we are rushing into a lair. That is a sub 4-minute lair timing. That was what, 350-ish? 350, 345. I mean, that's they got shut down. Oracles are stuck at home to defend, so lack of scouting, lack of information here. Classic is playing blind. Classic doesn't see. In general, it's not too difficult to scout the lair, but specifically because the depths just went down, because the Lings were harassing, the Oracles have not gotten into the main. 2 more gases on the way. Now, based on the lair timing, we have some options here. This could be the beginning of something like 2-base Muta if we do get another gas geyser. Otherwise, we can be getting ready here for a Lin Queen Nidus play, which I haven't seen in quite some time in this matchup. Where are we spending our gas? Are we going for the Spire? Or are we going for something else? Oh, okay. Going for not the Spire, going for the Hydra Den. Okay, so very fast Hydras here out of YoungYakov. So we're going for an early Hydra timing. Very early. I would imagine this is the setup for a 3-base all-in, and if say plus between the bases, Oracles as well. Oh, bit of miscontrol there. The first Oracle does fall. Lings, they get a full surround as well. Oh my god. And that's being thrown away. Stasis Trap will complete, but will not connect. And with that, a pretty solid defense here by YoungYakov, losing 4 drones, but killing what? Killing 5 Adepts, killing 1 Oracle. There's 2 Oracles remaining. At least he scouts. He scouts the Lair, he scouts the Hydra Den. Classic losing another Oracle. At least he's aware of what's coming his way, but just because he knows doesn't mean he can stop it. There's a cancellation. Lings it into the mineral line. No defense here. The probes are going to be going down. Oof. Brutal damage. Losing 5 probes here in the mineral line. 6 probes even. 7, 8. Oh my god. Gets all the probes. 8 probes go down. Classic, he is crippled. And again, we're getting ready for that Hydra timing. Hydra speed is on the way. Hydra range is going to be on the way as well. Remember, no Eva chamber, no upgrades. 4th base just for Larva. And YoungYakov, he's about to send it across the map, going for his 3-base all-in. 64 workers. 4th base just for Larva. On 5 gases. And it's going to be a tough hold. Going to be a very difficult defense here for Classic. So rallying, Hydras as well. Back at home, Storm is not yet done. There's the NG overcharge. Here come the Bailings. It's going to be close. Storm is finishing up in 10 seconds. Looks like it will be done in time. Just barely. And the Storm saying need to connect. And he's rolling in. Oh, a bit of a late Storm. Yeah, late Storm Bailings. Oh no, they catch the High Templar. They catch the Zealots as well. Yeah, late reaction, late Storm. And with that, YoungYakov, he's done it. He has done it. He has broken the base, broken the expansion. Catching out the Archon, the Prism, the High Templar. GG gets called, and YoungYakov, he will tie the series up 1-1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Again, everything just fell apart there for Classic. Losing the Adepts, losing the Oracles, failing to scout early on the Lair timing. By the time he realized what was going on, he lost everything. He lost the Adepts and Oracles, so he lost 8 probes across the map as well. As a result, just getting punished for overextending. And that led into the win. That led into everything just falling apart. GG, well played. We're getting into game number 3. Let's go. So a cheeky build here by YoungYakov, and the stars did align. Not just Classic failing to scout early on, but also losing his initial army. And everything snowballed out of control. And here we go, we're getting into the ace match. Game 3 here of our semifinals match. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Maganatha, we have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss himself, representing Virtus Pro from South Korea. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player tying up the series 1-1 and forcing the ace match. It is YoungYakov. Here we go. So again, a very cheeky setup last game at a YoungYakov. Remember, he went for a 350 lair timing, if not slightly earlier. Classic had the late scouts. He lost his initial harassing Adepts, the Oracles, the workers at his 3rd base. It all just fell apart. So it's on Classic to tighten up. Gotta tighten up the early game. So now we're settling in. Now Cloud's just being as annoying as possible, trying to force some inefficient mining. Being a nuisance. Here, Classic, he should be getting his Stargates. Pylon in the main. Into his third. Now, as we're leading into Maganath, again, a much larger map of the map pool. We do expect to see Classic working towards his third base, Stargate, Oracle. We don't really expect much deviation here from Classic. We don't really expect much aggressive follow-ups either. I mean, I guess he could try to pull a Shameless and try to catch YoungYakov off guard, but I don't think there's really much need to. Remember, Shameless, he went for a 3-way all-in Soul Train after the opener. With mixed success. Or it just fell on its face, really. Nice pylon block. Once again, Clash just being as annoying as possible. There's a cancel, Adept. Ooh, 1 second too late. The idea there, the hope was to delay the expansion until the Adept arrives, shade in, kill the drone, and delay even further. But alas, 1 second too late. Yakov expands. And again, that could have been so much worse if the Adept was there 1 second sooner. Or if the pylon had lasted 1 extra second as well. Adept sticking into the shade, getting 1 drone so far, only 1. Not quite worth it here. Nice defense by YoungYakov, instant counterattack. He's headed towards the third base. And you can see the Classic, he has to keep his Oracle at home. He has to keep it at home. The reasoning for that is, of course, he just lost the Adept, so he knows that links are coming. Also means there's 0 Oracle harass across the map, and YoungYakov, he could hide some tech here. This time last game, Yakov, he already had a lair on the way. Early Twilight Council, which gets counted. But that is a very early Twilight Council, late Forge at a Classic. If you remember, we saw something very similar in Game 1, and I was convinced it was Glaive Adepts. I was like, oh, okay, early Twilight Council, Gateways as well, looks like Glaive Adepts, but instead he went for really early, really safe Blink. He went for Blink as an opener, early on, into Delayed Forge. Yep, there it is. Delayed Forge, it looks like early Blink. It looks like the same build we saw in Game 1. Looks like. Meanwhile, Lair first. Okay, this Lair timing is not as fast as last game, but Lair first nonetheless. Lair before Eva Chamber, before Roach Warren, before Baneling Nest. Meanwhile, there it is. Blink is on the way. Temple Archives as well. Unlike Game 1, so this is a very similarly timed Blink timing, but this is a much earlier Temple Archives. Much earlier. Meanwhile, the Oracle does go for the dive. Gets 7 drone kills. 1 Oracle does go down. The other does barely get away. Whew. Classic pulls out. Classic, he does pull out in time. Yakov going into Ling Hydra, or Ling Bane Hydra. Hygen hidden a little bit further back. But again, Storm is almost done at this point. It's halfway done. Right on, his Banelings are waddling in. They head for the mineral line. This time the boys do pull away. Oh, Jesus. They tried to. Yeah, they tried to pull away. A couple of probes are going to fall. Losing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Nice. If it wasn't for those Lings target firing, of course, that would have been only 1 probe falling. Thankfully, up to 4 probes do go down. So we get some damage, but that was a big investment for YoungYakov. There's a lot of Banelings. More than 2 it doesn't show, as Banelings that detonates, they don't show in the Universal stat. Not sure here either. These are the 2 Banelings that were killed and not detonated. Oh. Ooh. The Oracle barely gets away, 1 shot away from falling. Yakov, he does run up to 4 bases, somewhat. He gets up to half saturation at his 4th. Building up more Lings, more Hydras. And Yakov being hyper committed. He is moving out. Getting ready for his push. And yeah, we're not droning. We're not droning up. We have not droned in quite some time. Cutting workers at 76. Again, half saturation at his 4th base, and he is massing up. Meanwhile, Classic, we spoke about this at the start of the series. When he sees an opening, he does go into Sky Toss, so he's on 4 bases. Sky Toss is on the way. And Yakov, can he punish? Can he punish the greed? Oof. Brutal Storm. When that Templar goes down, Ling Bane into the mineral line. Classic does react. Oh my god. Jesus. Did clump up for a moment there. 6 probes do fall, but he will hold. He'll defend. Classic, so far so good. Does defend, does keep up. So far he's keeping up here against Yakov. Keeping up, we do have some carriers on the way. Yakov, he does commit into the mineral line. Oh, gets a couple of probes. Not bad, despite the split here. 18 probes still go down. Now, what's scary? Oh, as he even catches the High Templar as well. Oh my god. Yeah, 3, almost 4 Templar falling. Classic being torn apart, losing probes, losing high-tech units as well. High Templar and probes. But what is scary is the Sky Toss. Like, we are slowly building up that carrier count. Yakov getting his Hive, getting his Lurker Den. I would say that thanks to all this damage being done, though, YoungYakov is not in a bad position. His drone count is a little bit low, so he's late to drone up. That is true. He is late to drone, and likewise, tech-wise, it feels like he's 1 step behind. 1 step behind as carriers are already building up. But we'll see if we can pull this up. Setting up. Again, he's almost maxed out on Ling Bane Hydra. He has to break one of these expansions. Speaking of, Banelings are rolling in. Oh. Roll in, they take down 2 High Templar. They force in an Archon. Not bad, there's 2 Templar left. And 2 Templar left. 1 Templar remaining. Does end one of the storms. Nice 2 carriers. Very nice damage here by YoungYakov. Zones away the ground army, takes down 2 carriers at the same time. Banelings roll in. Oof. Classic is keeping up. Classic, he is keeping up. But the carrier count was reset. And he would need a Spire. Yeah, Spire is now on the way. I will say this is a bit of a late Spire here for YoungYakov. He's on a solid drone count. He needs more bases. Needs better saturation. But he has to keep the pressure up. We cannot back off that. Cannot back off, cannot allow Classic to recover. You have cannons on the way, shield batteries are on the way, Classic is turtling up. And Yakov has to stop him soon. He's going for a split push. Lurkers have arrived. He's got his lunkers. We can see Classic keeping up with the main army. This run by has potential, but that's a lot of cannons and storm. And the reason why I'm emphasizing that YoungYakov has to get damage done soon is just because the army of YoungYakov doesn't really scale too well into a longer game. Like, he needs a Spire, he needs Spire upgrades, he needs Corruptors, Spellcasters. Does move in. Oh god, brutal storms! Yeah, storms, they shut down the Bailings. Lings are cleaned up. And Classic, he's holding. He's holding, not just holding, he's even diving on top of the Lurkers. Okay, 2 Lurkers, ay, ay, ay. Expensive run by here from YoungYakov. Corruptor production has begun. And this is not good enough. And not good enough in terms of damage. There's 6 carriers, 4 High Templar. Classic is maxed. Classic will soon move out. Now, because YoungYakov's army is a little bit lacking here, it is crucial, it is important that he's able to engage ahead of time and, say, abduct 1 carrier. Like 1, 2 carriers, pull away, build up, and just rinse and repeat. And a head-on fight, I do favor YoungYakov, and sorry, I do favor Classic, I meant to say, and he does recall. And recalls in. Observes with the army. Ooh, brutal feedback. Storm of the Lurkers. And YoungYakov, he will lose everything here. Corruptors to get 1 carrier. I just won. Yeah, only 1 carrier goes down. Every Lurker falls. And that was an expensive loss here for YoungYakov. Ay, ay, ay. As you mentioned, in a head-on fight, Classic, he was favored. It was on YoungYakov, as we were trying to emphasize, to like poke in and to get a couple of key units at a time, right? Like 1 carrier, 2 carriers, a couple of High Templar. Just because he has yet to perfect his army. And here comes Classic. Takes on top right. Classic waiting for reinforcements. He'd also have a base recall. Remember, that was the mothership recall. There it is. A bit of a later recall though, so he will still lose 7 probes. Classic does defend. Defends well. Corruptors, they go for the die. They do get the mothership. But how many carriers do we have? 9. 9 carriers. Ay, ay, ay. That's crazy. Against only 2 lurkers. Against a higher lurker count or a broodlord count, that's when Tempest are required. But, I mean, if you don't have to worry about siege units, then you can just commit to carrier. That's fine. He's got 2 more on the way. Going to be 11 carriers. He's crazy, Pappy. And again, at this point, Classic is more than recovered. Like Classic, he's in a very commanding position ever since that fight that occurred here towards the top side. Ever since he swallowed up YoungYakov. So Classic is rotating. He's posturing. Here we got 10 lunkers on the way. Let's go, Papi, let's go. And yo, a big shout out to CranKy. Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had a great move, by the way. Hope everything is nicely set up. Gracias, papi, gracias. Bienvenidos todos. Thank you, stream. Aquí estamos haciendo en inglés, no en español, pero gracias, gracias. Bienvenidos. Ojalá que tu stream te ve bien. Muy bien. Oh, so we get a couple of reductions here. Getting one, getting two corruptors. Or carriers even. Carriers, they survive. They pull away in time. Ay, ay, ay. Classic pulls away. Again, he has 11 carriers. And Yakov, he still cannot take a head-on fight. He's getting up to 21 corruptors. That will help. But of course, we have Archon support, Storm support as well for the Sky Toss. Lings they attempt to run by. Storm of the Lurkers. Well placed. Oof. Lurkers, they take a lot of damage. Classic is rotating in. The Lings, they do break through, actually. They get 12 probes. I mean, that's great and all, but what about the main army? What about the main push? Oh. Lands a storm. Does land that storm. Likewise, another storm coming into the mineral line and brutal connection. We do get one abduction. Gets one carrier, but alas, Classic is not being stopped. He's just rotating over, taking down another expansion, another hatchery. Lurkers, they come in from behind into the storms. Mass feedbacks. One power bomb lands, just the one. And this is it for the Corruptors. Oh my god, they're taking so many hits there. So many hits, so much damage from the Archons. They do pick off some of the carriers. And they may even get... Oh, never mind. There are so many Archons on the ground. The Corruptors, they cannot engage. Not into this many Archons. Oh no, he's trying for it. Yeah, he goes for it. And with that, he will lose every single Corruptor. Down to 2, down to 0. 0 Corruptors left. GG gets called. And Classic, he will take the series 2-1. Advancing on to the Grand Finals. GG. Whew. Hi, Pappy. GG, well played. Congratulations, Classic. He will take the series. He will advance on. Again, YoungYakov, he was looking pretty good in the first half of this game. He was knocking down mineral lines, knocking down armies as well. YoungYakov, he had some nice moments in the first half, but we spoke about it. We spoke about how he had to keep that pressure up because he was being outscaled tech-wise when it came to the quality of his army, right? As Classic was building up Skytos, he was still stuck on a lair tech army himself, and we saw it all culminated in one bad fight, referring to the moment that Classic recalled his army. He recalled his army behind the forces of YoungYakov with his mothership. He was able to collapse in, surround the army. He was able to reset the lurker count. There were like 11 lurkers there, all the hydras, everything crumbled. GG. GG, well played. In one fell swoop, Classic took all the momentum away from YoungYakov and took it from there. So congratulations here to Classic. And with that, we have our first finalists. We have our first finalists here making it to those grand finals. And we're going to be cutting to a break. We're getting ready for our second semis. It's going to be a best of 3 between Creator and Percival. We're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have our semis and then the grand finals thereafter. See you soon, Pat. See you soon.